My grip on the knife tightened with every passing second. Just as the blade was about to pierce her flesh, a gunshot rang out. The bullet grazed my cheek as it flew past. A searing pain instantly spread across my face. Blood trickled down the side of my face, dripping onto the pristine white marble floor. The hall fell into deathly silence. I slowly raised a hand and touched the blood on my cheek. Then I lifted my head and stared directly at the one who had fired.
You actually fired at me?
Serena, I warned you. She's still young. Don't touch her. You forced me into this.
I suddenly laughed so hard that tears streamed down my face. The next instant, I spun the knife round and plunged it straight into Dante's chest. Blood burst out instantly. Warm droplets splashed into my eyes, turning my vision crimson. It looked exactly like the color that had stained the path we'd walked together all these years. Dante, you're wrong. I never forced you. You've been forcing me. If you'd signed the divorce papers when I asked, none of this would have happened today.
Ashley is pregnant. She insisted on seeing it with her own eyes.
His voice over the phone sounded weary, as though he were merely indulging in an immature young girl.
She's still young. Don't lower yourself by arguing with her. Serena, as long as you behave, you'll always be Mrs. Russell.
The moment I hung up, I ordered every funding source tied to Ashley's accounts to be frozen. The brands she endorsed, the nightclubs she had invested in, and the shell companies registered under her name were all seized by creditors that very night. Overnight, she fell from being the fashion industry's hottest young model to a penniless debtor. Dante seemed to have forgotten one thing. Half of everything the Russell family possessed today had been built by me. I was the one who placed him on the throne. And I could just as easily drag him back down with my own hands. When Dante returned to our waterfront estate, I was trimming an African violet my father had left behind. More than a dozen men in black suits followed closely behind him. It didn't look like a husband returning home. It looked more like two mafia families preparing for a negotiation.
Serena, you've gone too far this time. You froze every one of Ashley's assets and had the entire fashion industry blacklist her.
How is she supposed to live now? Do you even realize she's only 22 and she's carrying a child?
The hand holding my golden pruning shears trembled slightly. I set the shears down and slowly wiped my fingertips with a silk handkerchief. Since she enjoys standing beneath the spotlight so much, I thought I'd let her experience what it feels like to fall from the clouds. Why are you the one getting angry? He kicked the antique wooden table over with one violent strike. The violet crashed onto the marble floor. The pot shattered, scattering soil and petals across the room.
Serena Moretti.
It was the first time he had ever called me by my full name.
Ashley isn't like you. Don't use your filthy tactics on her.
It felt as though something had pierced straight through my heart. He said she wasn't like me. Of course she wasn't. I'd known Dante for 15 years. From the days when he was a penniless young man working in a dockside warehouse, to becoming the mafia boss feared across Miami's underworld. I had stood beside him every step of the way. I had once been the carefully sheltered heiress of the Moretti family, protected from every storm by my father. I learned piano, oil painting, and horseback riding. I attended charity galas and sat in bank boardrooms while elderly shareholders presented their reports to me. For Dante, I learned how to trace dirty money, cripple an enemy's cash flow, and force concessions across the negotiating table from mafia commission members. The hands that once knew only music and painting had become hands that signed acquisition contracts and issued liquidation orders without hesitation. I had become this person because of him. And now, for another woman, he called me filthy. All I did was bankrupt her. Why are you so worked up? The last time I fought to protect your Caribbean shipping routes, I stayed awake for 3 straight days and forced the DeLuca family out of Miami. I nearly died at the negotiating table, and I never saw you lose control like this. Dante looked at me, nothing but exhaustion left in his eyes.
Serena, what is it that you really want? I already told you Ashley will never threaten your place. Stop this. Please.
The sharp crack of a slap echoed through the living room. His face snapped to one side from the force. The men behind him drew their guns almost simultaneously. My personal bodyguard, Aiden, drew his pistol at the same instant and pressed the barrel against Dante's forehead. I acted as if I hadn't noticed any of it. The second slap landed, then came the third, then the fourth. I slapped him again and again without stopping. Dante suddenly spun around and kicked the first man who had drawn his gun, sending him crashing to the floor.
Who gave you permission to point your guns at my wife? Put them all down!
Instead of backing off like a normal person, he lunged forward like a completely enraged beast whose twisted desires had just been ignited, violently pinning me against the back of the sofa. One of his hands gripped both of my wrists like an iron vike, forcefully pinning them behind my back, while his towering, scorning frame squeezed seamlessly between my legs. He lowered his head, biting my lips with a punishing, possessive force. The strong taste of blood spread savagely between our mouths. I didn't struggle. I pulled a divorce agreement from my document folder and tossed it in front of him. Sign it. We're getting divorced. Dante glanced down at the papers. The next second, he tore the agreement into pieces. White scraps of paper drifted from between his fingers.
Serena, I've told you before. The title of Mrs. Russell belongs to you alone. I will never divorce you.
I grabbed the crystal vase beside me and smashed it against his forehead with all my strength. The vase shattered on impact and blood streamed down from his brow. Fine, we don't have to divorce. Instead, let me show you a little performance. After it's over, we can continue being the East Coast's most devoted couple. Ashley appeared on the screen. Ashley was trapped inside one of the Russell family's private trading rooms, her expensive white dress soaked with red wine. A secret offshore account registered under her name was being forcibly liquidated. The numbers on the screen changed at a dizzying speed. In less than a minute, every asset she had hidden of offshore vanished. Her hysterical Dante turned and walked away. The driver waiting outside had already opened the door of the armored sedan. 2 escort vehicles fell in behind it. The convoy quickly sped away from the estate. Aiden stared at the vivid marks on my neck, barely able to contain the fury in his eyes.
He actually laid hands on you over a model? If the Moretti family hadn't paved the way for him, he'd still be an insignificant dock workin' who could disappear into the ocean at any moment.
If he wants to lose his mind, let him. I lowered my eyes to the shattered African violet lying on the floor and spoke softly. But I, Serena Moretti, have never been a woman anyone could manipulate. Starting the next day, both the financial world and the underworld were talking about the same thing. The media was flooded with photos of Dante carrying Ashley into St. Maria Medical Center. The couple, once envied by everyone, had become Miami's biggest joke. People began speculating about when the Russell family would have a new mistress of the house. Others claimed that I, the old money heiress who could no longer bear children, would soon be cast aside for good. A friend request suddenly appeared on my phone. The profile poke showed 2 hands clasped together. One of those hands wore the Russell family ring, a hand I knew all too well. I accepted the request. A prenatal examination report arrived the very next second. In the photo, Dante was kneeling beside the hospital bed with his fraud gently resting against Ashley's slightly rounded belly. The tenderness in his eyes looked almost reverential, as though he was worshipping something sacred.
Serena, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. The doctor says the baby is perfectly healthy. Ever since he started worrying that you'd hurt me again, Dante has stayed by my side every single day. I keep telling him to go back to the estate, but he just can't bear to leave me. Do you know how obsessed he is with this baby? Well, of course he is. After all, you'll never be able to have children again. Serena, you're nothing but a hen that can't lay eggs. Sooner or later, I'll become Mrs. Russell.
After listening to it, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Then I sent her a reply. Little girl, becoming Mrs. Russell takes a lot more than carrying a child. As if she were determined to provoke me. From that day on, Ashley sent me photos every morning without fail. Sometimes it was Dante, still dressed in a crisp shirt, making breakfast for her in the kitchen. Other times, it showed him carefully doping a coat over her shoulders. One photo captured him accompanying her to a prenatal checkup, gently helping her out of the car. The man who once did nothing but sign $100 million agreements at mafia council meetings was now more than willing to cook meals and care for another woman with his own hands.
Miss, would you like me to make sure she never sends you anything in again? I can guarantee there won't be a single trace left behind.
Not yet. I shook my head calmly. The moment the words left my mouth, the estate's front doors were thrown open with a loud bang. Dante stormed in with more than 20 members of the Russell family behind him. The antique decorations in the living room were knocked over without hesitation. A $1 million painting was ripped from the wall and smashed onto the floor. Within moments, the grand hall was in complete chaos. With a dark expression, Dante strode straight towards me.
Serena,
I let you off once already. I never imagined you'd dare drug Ashley. Is it because you can't have children yourself that you can't stand anyone else becoming a mother? If the doctors hadn't caught it in time, our baby would have been gone.
My heart suddenly sank. Slowly, I lifted my head and looked at the man standing before me. Several years ago, while Dante was away, attending a mafia commission meeting, the Russell family's greatest enemies launched a surprise attack on our estate. They locked me inside an underground wine cellar for 3 long days. By the time Dante returned with reinforcements, our baby was already gone. I spent 3 full months in the intensive care unit. In the end, the doctors told me that the injuries had completely destroyed my uterus. I would never be able to become a mother again. And now, the very man who had witnessed everything firsthand stood before me and spoke of it as though I simply couldn't bear children.
Boss, watch your words. Back then, Miss Serena.
Shut up!
Without even letting him finish, Dante yanked the pistol from his waist and slammed the grip into Aiden's leg. A dull crack of breaking bone echoed through the hall as Aiden dropped to one knee. Leaning back against the sofa, I suddenly laughed. The laughter grew louder and louder. The next second, I shot to my feet, snatching a tactical knife from the belt of one of the Russell soldiers.
What's next? Watch on.